Did India lose Rafales? If you remember, the Pakistani Air Force put a nice presentation together that said that had 6 verified, they said, kills. And then we went to the Indian side, and the Indian side basically said the losses are part of combat. And then a pointed interview, they said, yes, we lost jets, but didn't say which ones or what kind or whatever. After that little, we call it a war or skirmish. After that battles that occurred, Dassault stock dropped because orders and stuff like that. Well, on the 15th of June, Eric Trappier, the CEO of Dassault Aviation, said that what the Pakistanis are saying is inaccurate. This is from the Hindustan Times, so consider the source. But it says that is the claim that India lost Rafale jets during the last month's conflict, saying Islamabad said is inaccurate, and that's it. Just said it's inaccurate. They haven't communicated, so we don't know exactly what happened. What we already know is that the Pakistanis are saying is inaccurate. So you say, we don't know, but that ain't it. When you operate combat aircraft, you're carrying out a mission. The mission's success is not having 0 losses. It's having achieved its objective. But he's basically kind of saying what we kind of said, is that there's nothing really verified in this, but India is not talking either. The only thing we have is the claim that they shot down 6 aircraft, Operation Sindoor, on the, was it 7th and 10th?
Mm-hmm.
So we're in a combat. There you go, where it says the air marshal said losses are part of combat. Scroll down, Doug. Yeah, the question you must ask is whether we achieved our objective. So he kind of deflected. And I don't know that this is really a debunking either, because if India is not really talking to him, he did confirm that Indian jets were downed, which I think there was a Su-30 crew that was pretty obvious, but he didn't specify how many or whether Rafales were a part of them. Trappier firmly stood by the fighter jet's credentials because he has to sell it. He thinks it's the best in the world, better than the F-35. Okay. He thinks they're the best, which I would hope the CEO of Dassault thinks it's the best. Gonky, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably doing, whether the claim is true or not, the words were spoken, right? So he's doing a little bit of damage control, being the CEO, as he should. We don't know, right? It's finger pointing at this point, and for him to come out and say something like that, I would expect it. He is right in the sense that the objective is the mission, not necessarily no losses. Generally speaking, sometimes commander's intent is no blue losses, but the Rafale is a good airplane. I've flown with them a little bit, the Navy, the Navy variant, and it's what I saw is very much like an F-18, to be honest. I don't know if the claims is better than F-35 and everything. I don't know. Maybe these newer generation ones are, but I would expect the CEO of a major defense company like that to respond as he did. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
I think it gets too much into the team sports at this point, right? Because everybody's like got a side and we got to save face and all this. India obviously lost aircraft, and they're in this, and especially this region. It's obviously a little bit of cultural where we save face and we don't want to admit losses or admit what happened because, the aircraft we buy is the best aircraft and there's no other option. So we don't want to admit anything either. Pakistanis are obviously, want to push this narrative, and to some degree, they have produced more truth than the other side, because they came out and said, on this date, at this location, at these places, we took down this aircraft, this aircraft, this aircraft. And the Indians did not come back and debunk it. Not that they need to, but when they are asked about it, they get dodgy, which always, when you get dodgy, you're like, yeah, okay. Because they're like, well, we didn't lose. That number's wrong. And it's like, well, okay, right. Well, how many did you lose? Well, a few, some, more than 1, 2. So, 3 sides to every story, Pakistani side, the Indian side, and the truth. I think the CEO of the Dassault aircraft company has an obligation to his shareholders. And when asked about, hey, do you have the greatest jet in the world? Yeah, we of course, we have the best jet. Because what else are you going to say? Nah, man, we got...
Yeah, sold you a lemon.
Yeah, sorry. That thing sucks. It's not even as good as the Viper, which is true. So yeah, he's going to say that. He didn't really deny it, other than he said it's inaccurate, which could mean, yeah, okay, yeah, instead of 2, it was 1 or
3.
whatever.
It was 3.
To me, like overall, it's irrelevant. Like
Yeah.
none of this matters. If they had 6 air-to-air kills or 20, I think what ends up mattering is, were the strategic and ground commanders and what objectives met? Did they do? Because we are, even though we want to think we're the show, we are support assets. We are trying to enact the ground commander's intent to achieve strategic objectives. And that's all that matters. Yeah, we don't want to have losses. It's great if we don't have losses. But if at the end of the day, you know, India took out Pakistan's ability to do X, Y, and Z, well, I think they can call that a success. And if Pakistan defended against it or prevented or whatever, then they can call that a success. The fact that they're not still fighting, to me, is the ultimate win, and I hope that continues, and that we don't devolve into a larger conflict. Like I hope the bickering back and forth about how many you shot down is as bad as it gets.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. Yeah, mission success is what it's about. I mean, dude, the fighter planes are just a tool, right? It's just one piece of the puzzle, and I get it. Like wreckage, at least the best of my ability or knowledge, you know, wreckage from both sides of, you know, fell into their own country. If there's a Rafale down in Pakistan, I'm almost certain we would see pictures of it.
I don't think they claimed a single kill that landed in their own country. I think it was all, yeah. I mean, which granted, like, remember last week, was it last week we were talking about, they said they shot down the Saab 340 or whatever. And you're like,
yeah, like way inland.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
You sure about that?
Okay. Yeah. It's hard to sift through what is truth and not truth. You know, the real truth is probably somewhere in the middle, and he really didn't shed any light on what happened.
No, it's probably like 1 Rafale, a Su-30, you know, a drone, something else. And you're like, okay, yeah, okay. They said 6, there was really 4, 1 Rafale. Okay, sure.
Right.
I don't think it changes anything. I think the amount of data that was gathered from that conflict is still valid. And I think that diplomacy is still the answer.
And let's hope that's what happens.